Okay, well, did you spot the example of something working well when everything does its part? Yes, of course. It's the body. And you know all about bodies. I know you're not doctors, but you do because you've got one. And I've got one. And the Apostle Paul had one, which is why he thought it was a good picture of what the church looks like. You see, Paul knew that the church wasn't a building or a name, but a group of people. People who followed Jesus. We call them Christians. And that body, he says, belongs to someone. Just as your body belongs to you, and my body belongs to me, so this body, he says, belongs to Jesus. It's the church of Jesus. It's made up of people who follow him. Now, why did he use this word picture? Well, I think, as that last verse says, that every part of the body is significant. And therefore, every part of the church, every person in the church of Jesus is significant. Doesn't matter how old you are, everyone is significant. Many parts, but all doing different things. And Jesus himself helps us to do those things. He gives us gifts and abilities. He gives us a great example. He shows us that we are to live for others before ourselves. We are to love others. Now, when you become a Christian, God doesn't go, "Oh no, not another one to find work for." He says, "Come along, I've got loads of things for you to do." In other words, doing stuff for God doesn't make you a Christian. It shows you're a Christian. Now, when I was a small boy, there was a song we used to sing with this line: "There's a work for Jesus, none but you can do." I'm sure some of the older people remember that too. There's a work for Jesus only you can do. And though we can't do the normal things of church during this lockdown, there's still things that God wants us to do because we follow him. Remember, Jesus always thought of others before himself, and he loved people. And so perhaps this week you can be like Jesus. Perhaps you can write a letter, boys and girls. There we are, you'll get some handwriting practice, and it's also an opportunity to bless others. Perhaps write a letter to your grandparents, or an aunt or uncle, or maybe someone in church, one of the older folks that you haven't seen for a while and perhaps are lonely. Bless them by doing that this week. How about chatting to your neighbour over the wall or over the fence? Asking if there's anything you can do for them. Do they need help? You could even ask if you could pray for them. Or maybe this week you could just be kind. Maybe you could be slow to become angry. Maybe you could say sorry. Maybe you could forgive. And if you really are struggling, then why don't you ask God to show you how you can use those God-given gifts and abilities, how you can live as a follower of Jesus. We're going to sing a song now that encourages us to live for Jesus. So let's do that together.